Breaking news tonight, Diddy party, cocktail, cocaine, and horse trank. That's horse tranquilizer. Did he actually feed this to his guests? This while Sean Combs' mother drops a bombshell.
Recent allegations surrounding Diddy's notorious wild parties have taken a disturbing turn. According to reports, Diddy allegedly coerced attendees into consuming his special cocktails, which were laced with substances such as and to maintain control over them. These events reportedly featured days-long physical performances involving commercial workers, with Diddy allegedly using threats and blackmail to ensure compliance. Law enforcement, shocked by the scale of the operations, described these parties as highly exploitative, with evidence including surveillance footage seized during raids.
Tranquilizer. If it knocks out a horse, what does it do to a lady? Say average weight 105 to 125? What does that do to a human being? You heard Tony Busby, the civil lawyer who is getting thousands and thousands of calls on a Diddy hotline, refer to this trank. It's a veterinary tranquilizer. It's found in illicit. And this is what we've learned from speaking to experts. It slows breathing, heart rate, blood pressure to dangerously low levels. It's very hard to reverse. Overdose reversal meds like Narcan do not reverse the effects. In other words, for instance, Prince, when he OD'd on an opiate, possibly fentanyl, Narcan, if he had had it, would have saved his life.
Recent allegations have revealed that Diddy is accused of using a horse tranquilizer known as Trank to subdue and control victims at his infamous parties. Not approved for human use, is a powerful sedative that causes disorientation, memory loss, and compliance, making it highly dangerous when used on people. Victims who ingested drinks spiked with this substance reportedly woke up with no recollection of the events that occurred.
And this is interesting to me because over 50% of the victims reported the misconduct, and drugs were found in their system, and one of the primary drugs being Hold on. It's a horse tranquilizer.
Several sources close to the investigation suggest that the Diddy scandal involves deeper and more disturbing layers than what is currently known. With 120 alleged victims, and counting, the accusations point to a sophisticated and calculated system of misuse involving substances, coercion, and manipulation. Many believe that as more victims come forward, the case will expose a larger, darker network surrounding the music mogul
asset prisoner, and what he knows is even greater than that of that other fellow who was miraculously or amazingly dispatched while he was in custody. So all of these things are taken into account, my friends. All of these critical issues are being taken into account. This goes so deep that it would certainly, I think, behoove in any other scenario those individuals who are looking at potential criminal and civil exposure to perhaps employ some form of, as we say, self-help to eliminate, to obviate, to interrupt Mr. Combs from involving himself in what appears to be something that we have never seen. And when this happens, and you get kids and people and adults, and they're pointing fingers.
Attorney Tony Busby, representing many of Diddy's alleged victims, has highlighted the use of substances to induce memory loss among attendees. According to Busby, victims often did not remember the events that transpired after being unconscious at these parties.
Throughout this, at least from what I've gathered, is there's always some sort of drug involved. There's always some sort of drink that I believe will be able to show was spiked in some way with some kind of that caused these individuals not to really be able to fight back perhaps as much as they might have. And then they wake up not knowing what had happened to them, other than they know that they're injured in their private areas. And many of them went to seek medical treatment. Some of them were tested when they did so. I mean, there's other individuals who their test came back with some weird, I hadn't even heard of this. I own a farm, and I guess maybe my ranch manager knows what this is, but a horse trank. I'd never.
A horse tranquilizer?
Horse tranquilizer. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just outrageous when you think of it.
Some were even tested for substances like, which is known for its powerful sedative effects, leaving victims unaware of the trauma inflicted upon them until much later. Reports claim that Diddy specifically targeted grown men at his parties by administering substances like this tranquilizer left even strong, physically capable individuals incapacitated and vulnerable to his desires.
Honey, Nancy Grace is on the case. She is slamming Diddy. And guess what? Did you guys know that he was using horse tranquilizers to take out grown men? Let me tell you what they say he have done. He invite a whole bunch of people into his Diddy party, right? Then he have certain individuals who he is scoping out in the party that he want to take down that night. So he will have like servers come up to them, not knowing it was certain substances in their drink that will get them to be a little bit sleepy, or to get them to, feel some type of way where they will want to stay longer. They feel like, oh, I can't drive, or they may just feel too good of a time. I don't know exactly what he was putting in them drinks, but he was putting in them drinks and have his servers go pick certain those men that he would want to stay late. Then he will knock them out with some horse tranquilizers. And they say, horse tranquilizers is a medication to knock horses out. And can you imagine what it do for grown men? And once he knock them out, we heard that video of Meek Mill's. It's a video going around.
The substance's potency allowed Diddy to overpower these men without resistance, further escalating the horror of the mistreatments he is accused of committing.
We don't know if it's actually him or not, but we hear Diddy taking somebody pound town. Now, I don't think Meek Mills was on horse tranquilizer, because I don't think he would be screaming and yelling like that. I think a horse tranquilizer, you're not going to hear anybody, right? Do you really think he was on horse tranquilizer screaming like that? Nah, he wasn't on that horse, Other people's on horse, and maybe they can't speak, maybe they don't remember. Well, anyway, they say they have video footage of this as well, and the feds, they have all this. And they created a hotline. They said over 12,000 people have called in, and they are saying that they got tapes, Diddy tapes, Will Smith on them tapes, T.D. Jakes on them tapes, Steve Harvey on them tapes, Tyler Perry on them tapes. They said those men, they are going around paying off victims. I don't know how true this is, but this is what I'm hearing around the streets.
Psychologist Dr. Bethany Marshall explains that when a horse tranquilizer is given to humans, it creates a state of complete dissociation and memory loss. Victims might appear active and participatory in events, but have no recollection of their actions afterward. This combination of sedation and activity makes the substances particularly insidious, as it gives perpetrators like Diddy the ability to control their victims while appearing consensual.
Because it's a horse tranquilizer, causes amnesia, what we call anterograde amnesia, meaning that the victim won't remember what happened while they're on that drug, and keeps them active enough that they can participate in acts outside of their conscious awareness. So this is a very sinister thing to do to people. And then remember, he was taping the victims the whole time. So who would do this? A psychopath, a sociopath, somebody who has no regard for others, somebody who's a sadist, as we've been talking about, that the infliction of cruelty makes him, that he enjoys doing that and putting them in humiliating positions. And then Nancy stalking them after this, because once he tapes them on the xylazine and the cocaine, it appears as if they're voluntarily.
In a bizarre twist, Little Rod, one of the individuals who filed a lawsuit against Diddy, claimed that the so-called baby oil found during the raids on Diddy's properties was actually a substance-laced lubricant called Tucci B, which is often. This lubricant, combined with other substances, was allegedly used during the physical activities at these parties. The revelation adds another disturbing element to the way substances were weaponized for mistreatment. Could substances disguised as everyday items have played a significant role in Diddy's manipulation of victims?
Known as Little Rod stated in his lawsuit against Diddy that during his infamous parties, Sean Combs would lace the bottles of liquor with a compound known as to be clear, not to be confused with Shulgin's original psychedelic creation called 2CB. Oh no, 2C, often spelled Tucci or TUCI, is actually a conglomeration of a bunch of compounds all smushed together and then doused in some pretty pink food coloring. Body doesn't exactly see it as each Nissan shit. It actually sees it as one big concoction of substances mixed together, hitting you like it's one brand new. Sometimes quite actually. For instance, when you mix alcohol, you get. Sometimes the body actually combines the substance. You see, our bodies are master chemists. That's right, we all got a little bit of Walter White in us. And this can be really dangerous, especially when you have substances that have very contrasting effects. For example, when you mix a depressant, which lowers your blood pressure, and a stimulant, which raises your blood pressure, these are two very contrasting effects, and your body is getting a very mixed signal.
The blending of substances like other substances into cocktails reportedly served as a method to disorient and incapacitate party guests. These dangerous mixtures were highly detrimental to the victims' health, contributing to the physical and psychological trauma that many of them endured. Diddy is alleged to have systematically used these combinations to maintain dominance over his guests.
Assuming things like a speedball. Our hearts cannot slow down and speed up at the same time. That would be like driving your car fast and slow simultaneously. I mean, the math is just not mathing. Ain't gonna work, dog. It's also extremely dangerous just to mix two stimulants together. 2C concoctions containing both Molly and Coke, or maybe Molly and some random novel stimulant, are gonna put double strain on your heart. Then you add fentanyl into the mix and you've got something even more dangerous than a speedball ever could dream of being. And let's not forget that most people are gonna be adding yet another substance to the mix. They're gonna be mixing it with good old ethanol. And this adds several more layers of danger. It is known to never mix can cause respiratory depression and death. It is also known never to mix an opioid with alcohol. This can cause respiratory depression and death. Now consider the concoctions of contain both an opioid, and now these guys are drinking alcohol. Holy shit, that's a triple whammy. It's gonna cause respiratory depression, and you named it, death, as well as the stimulant that's added, which is gonna speed the heart rate up. This concoction is freaking dangerous, dude. What you're gonna get is a combo of substances that make somebody extremely susceptible to, I don't know, manipulation, somebody that's easy to influence, because we all know we're really easy to take advantage of when we're past the Let's also keep in mind that most users, actually all users, are gonna have.
Roger Bonds, a former party worker, revealed that employees at Diddy's events were required to carry bags filled with various substances. These workers were expected to provide Diddy with substances whenever requested, facilitating the substance use that allegedly fueled the misconducts at these gatherings. This level of organization suggests a deeply entrenched system designed to enable and cover up Diddy's actions. How complicit were the workers in maintaining the environment of misconduct at Diddy's parties?
Had some doctors in Miami that would write whatever you wanted. And it wouldn't all be in his name. It would be in his assistant's name and anybody else that was around him.
Did you ever take yourself?
I actually did.
Okay.
I actually did.
Keeping it honest, all right.
You know, no, I'm going to keep it all the way honest. It was times where I was up 24 hours, 48 hours. And when you're around this type of situation, you try it. And I actually did try it. I took ecstasy at that time. And I found myself kind of staying up because of this. You know what I'm saying? And I had to get away from that. And I just stopped taking it. I wasn't hooked or nothing like that. I just stopped taking.
Yeah.
During a raid on Diddy's Miami residence, authorities reportedly arrested a substance mule linked to his operation at Opa-locka Airport. This arrest underscores the scale of Diddy's involvement in substance trafficking, with his parties serving as hubs for illegal substances. The presence of a substance mule indicates that the flow of was a crucial part of maintaining the misuse. Could Diddy's substance connections extend beyond party scenes into larger criminal networks?
Miami-Dade police body-worn camera shows a known associate of Sean Diddy Combs arrested Monday in South Florida. 25-year-old Brendan Paul is accused of being a mule for the music mogul's drugs and guns. Video shows Paul being arrested at Opa-locka Airport after police say he was caught carrying marijuana-laced candy. Paul bonded out of jail on Tuesday morning. Meanwhile, Sean Diddy Combs' private jet is now back in South Florida just days after his mansions in Miami Beach and LA were raided by federal agents. The jet reportedly took off Monday.
Suge Knight, a controversial figure in his own right, has claimed that Diddy has been a medicine addict for 15 years. According to Knight, Diddy's addiction may have contributed to his erratic and dangerous behavior, leading to the misuses now coming to light.
I don't think he gonna lay down and just crawl in the corner and die. He probably going through a lot of right now because he probably going through a lot of withdrawals. But the industry got him on.
Feels a reasonable allegation. I mean, look, this person Diddy has been dealing with a lot of use for about 15 years. He's been dealing with a world where he is surrounded by enablers. A lot of people have told me the folks who might say no to him have been pushed out of the circle, out of the entourage, and he's surrounded by enablers and people who won't say no to him and people who won't say, hey, let's rethink that decision. Anybody who isn't supporting his every whim and instinct.
While Knight's claims should be treated with caution, they add to the complex narrative surrounding Diddy's history with substance misuse. In a bizarre legal turn, it has been rumored that a substance cartel is suing Diddy for damaging their operations. Allegedly, Diddy's reckless use of his parties disrupted the flow of substances, leading to financial losses for the cartel. It highlights the chaotic and far-reaching consequences of Diddy's substance-related activities.
Do you know how fed up the cartel has to be with you to sue you for ruining their drug business? Yes, you heard that right. Members of the cartel are suing Diddy for allegedly ruining their drug business. Have you guys seen that video of the cop talking to a woman where she said that she called 911 because someone stole her drugs? This is giving the same vibe. Also, in the statements from the cartel, they didn't like how Diddy was bringing minors to their parties. So they didn't rat him out at first for that. The cartel selling illegal drugs, bringing people over the border with illegal drugs. They have killed people on video and have posted it online. But you're not gonna ruin their drug business? No, that is a line that cannot be crossed with them. That's where they have had enough. And the cartel member that is suing him is also in prison. This just keeps getting more and more wild.
One survivor of Diddy's parties has come forward, praising singer Cassie for filing a lawsuit against him. This survivor claims that Diddy gave her substances, but she managed to escape. Cassie's bravery in standing up to Diddy is seen as an inspiration, giving other victims the courage to share their stories. Until Cassie's legal actions, many victims remained silent due to fear of retaliation.
Awful, horrible, should be 6 feet under men. Another musical artist, that's a man, was outed today. If you listen to electronic music, you probably know the duo Tale of Us. This woman on this Instagram account posted receipts of a horrific experience that she had with him. So whether it's P Diddy or Trey Songz or Chris Brown or Tale of Us, dare I say, any man that was ever on the Warped Tour ever, I will simply never be shocked when a male musician is outed as a predator ever again. Because clearly the music industry protects them. And it will continue doing so until we say enough is fucking enough.
Diddy and his girlfriend Carisha were reportedly involved in substance use together, with Carisha allegedly underage at the time. This relationship has raised concerns about Diddy's exploitation of younger women and the role substances played in these interactions. The dynamics between Diddy and Carisha echo broader themes of manipulation and control that have emerged from other allegations. How do relationships involving power imbalances contribute to cycles of exploitation?
It claims that Carisha does drugs with P Diddy and that she's an SW. The old barter system, the oldest job in the world. I don't understand how you can listen to her music and be surprised. And then I thought, well, because maybe we were raised on Ja Rule. And Ja Rule used to talk about how he was out there in the world. Yeah, but you're texting the text man for text. If you don't pay someone's rent, I don't give a fuck, okay? If you pay my rent, you can tell me what to do. If you pay a bill, you can tell me what to do. I really don't give a fuck. Get your money. What bothers me and what I need to know, Carisha, did you know if those girls were underage? Because that'll break my fucking heart. Have you seen a 16-year-old girl recently? You can't tell me that you don't know that that's a fucking teenager. Maybe an 18-year-old and you thought she was 21. Maybe. 16 years old. Underage girls hanging around. Just nastiness, knowing that they're being drugged.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.